All right, guys, today we are talking about parallel and perpendicular lines. So our big idea here we're working with today is that parallel lines have the same slope. Also, if you need a reference for what parallel lines look like, since they have the same slope, they just kind of run side by side each other. They're never going to cross. Perpendicular lines are lines that meet at a 90-degree angle, and they have opposite reciprocal slopes, right? So those are the two ideas you need for today. Parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slope. So I'm going to show you what that means here. So this first graph on the left, these are all parallel lines. So they have the same slope. If I looked at their rise over run, this is going down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So negative 1/5. Is this negative 1/5? Or I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one's negative 1/5. This one looks like it's negative 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are not parallel. And this one is down 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So only in this case, parallel were lines A and C. Okay, B is not parallel. Eventually, these would cross because they don't have the same slope. So even if they look parallel, you still have to double check and be sure because they are close to parallel, but not quite. Only A and C are parallel. On number 2, these are perpendicular because they have opposite reciprocal slopes. Opposite means it's the opposite sign. So this one's a negative 2. This is a positive 1/2. And the reciprocal is it just flipped upside down. So negative 2 is the same as negative 2 over 1. The opposite reciprocal, you flip it upside down and use the opposite sign. So if we go back here, if we had A over B, for example, opposite reciprocal would be negative B over A. Determine which of the lines, if any, are parallel or perpendicular. So we have to find their slopes. And in equations, here this is in slope-intercept form. I know my slope is in front of x, but that's only true if my y is isolated. Okay, so we're going to have to rearrange the other two, it looks like. So for this one, my slope is 4. Here I'm going to isolate y. So I'm going to start by subtracting x from both sides. We did this in our warm-up last week. And then I'm going to divide everything by 4. So y equals negative 1/4 x plus 3/4, meaning my slope is negative 1/4. And here, let's go ahead and label these. This will be A, B, and C. So again, I'm going to try my best to isolate y here. I'm going to add 2x to both sides first. And then I'm going to divide all 3 pieces by negative 8, all 3 terms. So that'll give me negative 1/4 x when you simplify that fraction, minus 2. So this one's slope is negative 1/4. So if we talk about parallel and perpendicular, B and C are parallel. Their slopes are the same. 4 over 1 and negative 1/4 are opposite reciprocals. So A and B and A and C are perpendicular. All right, the other type of problem you're going to encounter in this section is writing equations of lines, given a point and given either parallel or perpendicular to another line. So this one says write the equation of the line that passes through the point negative 5, 4 and is parallel to the line y equals 2x plus 3? Well, we know that this line's slope is 2 and that parallel lines have the same slope. So really we have a slope of 2 and a point. And we can use that to write the equation of that line. So finding b, there's two methods. Finding b or using point slope form and rearranging. So if I want to find b, we have y equals mx plus b. I'm going to plug in everything I know. In this case, my y is -4. My slope is 2. My x is 5. And I still have to find b. And then I'm just solving this from here. So it looks like -14 is b, meaning my equation will be y equals 2x minus 14. So that's one method to get the answer. The other is using point slope form because we were given a point in our slope. So point slope form, I would have y minus -4 equals 2 times x minus 5. And then I just need to isolate my y here. So I'm going to distribute. I'm adding the opposite here. So this is the same as y plus 4. And I have 2x minus 10. And then I can subtract 4 from both sides. And I get 2x minus 14. And you can use whichever method you like, whichever one you prefer. I'm never going to ask you to do 2 or force you to do one over the other. I used to really like finding b when I was in school, whenever I had to do that. And then when I became a teacher, I started liking point slope. So truly there is no better, easier one, really. It's just whichever one makes the most sense to you. So similar problem, this one says write the equation of the line that passes through this point, -3, 1, and is perpendicular to the line. Y equals 1/2 x plus 3. Now, perpendicular have opposite reciprocal slopes. So I'm going to take that 1/2 and flip it over and change the sign, which is the same as -2. So I have a slope of -2 and a point of -3, 1. So let's say I use my find b method. Y equals mx plus b. I know my y is 1, my slope is -2, and my x is -3. So you get 1 equals 6 plus b. I'll subtract 6, meaning b is -5. So my final equation is y equals -2x minus 5. If you use the second method, you should get the exact same answer. All right, last problem for today's notes. It says the position of a helicopter search and rescue crew is shown in the graph. The shortest flight path to the shoreline is one that is perpendicular to the shoreline. Write an equation that represents its path. So we're talking about this helicopter here. We want the equation of this line. We don't know exactly where it's going to touch the y-axis. That's not part of our picture, but they did give us a point 14.4, and I can use the slope. So if I am trying to find slope, I can add a point wherever it goes right through the crosshairs of the grid behind it. So like these two would be points, and this is going up 3/2, so my slope is 3/2. Meaning this one should be -2/3 if they're perpendicular, and it is. But the one that we want is the helicopter one, so 3/2. And then we have the point 14.4. So I'll use the point slope method so that you can get another example of that one, where I'm going to do y minus 4 equals 3/2 times x minus 14, and then I just need to work to isolate my y. So I'll distribute first. And then we're going to have to figure out, I think that would be -21, but I'll double check real quick. 3 times 14 divided by 2. Yep, 21. And then we will add 4 to both sides. So we end up with y equals 3/2 x minus 17. All right, that's it for your notes for today. You do have a short Delta Math assignment to work on.